Middle Egypt, generally as the district which separates the Thebaid from the delta. Middle Egypt today can be identified as the part of the Nile Valley that, while geographically part of Upper Egypt, is culturally closer to Lower Egypt. For instance, in terms of language, the Egyptian Arabic of people in Beni Suef and northwards shares features with Cairene and particularly rural Delta Arabic rather than with the Saidi Arabic spoken further south, and are often not considered Saidis. In the 19th century, Heptanomus was described generally as the district which separates the Thebaid from the delta. Inasmuch, however, as the appellation of the seven nomes is political rather than territorial, it is not easy to define the actual boundaries of this region. The northern portion belonged to the Kingdom of Lower Egypt, of which it contained the capital, Memphis. The southern appertained to the elder Kingdom of Thebes, so long at least as there continued to be two monarchies in the Nile Valley. It is not possible to determine at what period, if indeed at any, the Heptanomus was regarded as an integral third of Egypt. About the number of its nomes there can be no question, but which, at any given era, were the seven principal nomes, it is less easy to decide. They probably varied with the vicissitudes of local prosperity, war, commerce, or migration, from time to time, causing a superior nome to decline, and, on the contrary, raising an inferior nome to eminence. According to Ptolemy and Agathachides Heracleopolites, Oxyrhynchites, the Normos Arsinoites are the Fayum, between the hills on which the pyramids stand and the corresponding elevation of Gebal el-Mokatem. On the eastern bank of the river, the Heptanomus expands, until near Circusorum it acquires almost the breadth of the subjacent delta. The Heptanomus is remarkable for its quarries of stone and its rock grottos. Besides the alabastrites, to the north of Antino the grottos of Beni Hassan, the Spios Artemidos of the Greeks is found. 9 miles lower down are the grottos of Qom el-Ahmar, and in the Arabian desert, on the east, quarries of the beautiful veined and white alabaster, which the Egyptians employed in their sarcophagi, and in the more delicate portions of their architecture. From the quarries of Torah and Masada, in the hills of Gebal el-Mokatem, east of Memphis, they obtained the limestone used in casing the pyramids. The roads from these quarries may still be traced across the intervening plain. Under the Ptolemies, the Heptanomus was governed by an epistrategos, and by an officer of corresponding designation, procurator. Under the Roman Caesars, the procurator described in inscriptions was described as Procurator Augusti Epistrategius Septem Normorum. Under the later Caesars in the 3rd century, the 5 northern nomes, Memphites, Heracleopolites, Arsinoites, Aphroditopolites, and Oxyrhynchites, together with the Normos Leptopolites, constituted the province of Arcadia Aegypti, which subsequently became a metropolitan episcopal see. The natural productions of the Heptanomus resemble those of Upper Egypt generally, and present a more tropical fauna and flora than those of the delta. Its population also was less modified by Greek or Nubian admixture than that of either Lower or Upper Egypt, although, after the 4th century, the Heptanomus was overrun by Arabian marauders, who considerably affected the native racial mix. The capital cities of the Heptanomus were collectively called the Heptapolis, and they were Memphis, Heracleopolis, Crocodilopolis, Aphroditopolis, Oxyrhynchos, Sinopolis and Hermopolis.